System prompt. The host's final disciple breakthrough sacred rank. The unrivaled sovereign system has been activated. At this moment, a man in the coffin slowly opened his eyes. I have been resurrected. I've been dead for exactly 300 years. Now I've miraculously come back to life. The man's name is Noctis Borealis, who was originally a transcender. After experiencing many hardships and trials, he finally succeeded in activating the initial system, finding his path to becoming an emperor. That means he must gather all 108 female disciples and help each disciple comprehend and complete the Great Tao. By then, he will be able to reverse fate with the help of the East Wind. He did not live long enough to see the day when fate was reversed despite waiting tirelessly until the end of his life. But now, he has finally waited for this day. Am I inside a coffin board? By the way, the system. Can you tell me which disciple broke through to the Divine Sage stage today? I just want to see which stupid disciple actually took 300 years to break through attaining sanctity. Sorry, the system cannot provide that information. Noctis Borealis was speechless. This broken system actually protects the privacy of disciples. He could only inquire about when the second-to-last disciple had broken through. The system answered, 230 years ago, your second-to-last disciple broke through the Divine Sage stage. That's truly amazing. Does that mean? If I, as the last disciple, achieved sanctification earlier, then wouldn't that mean I could be resurrected earlier? Sitter! Wait for me. Once I defy fate, I will immediately go find you. Let you experience the love I've been late in giving for 300 years. At this moment, outside the Night Emperor's tomb, a bolt of heavenly lightning strikes down. The protective barrier of the palace is instantly shattered. Elder Li is indeed worthy of the late stage of half-divine saga. You are really awesome. You took down this annoying barrier with just one hit. Let's go in and take a look. There must be treasures inside. They pushed open the door. A few people entered inside. This is Cosmic Tree. Such a big cosmic tree. Everyone was dumbfounded at that time. You know, this thing is the best material for making top-notch spiritual treasures and legendary sacred artifacts. Just how wealthy was this malevolent lord during his lifetime to be so extravagant? All the spiritual energy here is being poured into this coffin. Will there be any treasures inside? Let me open it. Elder Li on the side moved his fingers to activate the incantation. He waved his hand. The seal on the coffin shattered instantly. Looking at the rosy-faced corpse inside, the man beside speculated. It is estimated that someone put the legendary treasure into his mouth. He can only maintain such spiritual coherence in his physical body. It seems that what he is referring to in his mouth is the legendary treasure. Elder Li couldn't help but reach out for it. But as soon as his hand entered the coffin, the eyes of Noctis Borealis instantly opened. Grave robber? Quite bold. Dare to disturb the tomb under the Great Year's watch. Impossible. The malevolent emperor died 300 years ago. How could he possibly have the appearance of a dashing youth? Elder Li on the side quickly reminded everyone. The man is just a minor ghost at the spirit concentration stage. Among them, even the weakest one has already reached the celestial court stage. You are acting mysteriously. Quickly speak up. Why are you here? Legendary treasure, where did you hide it? The man asking the question did not receive a response from Noctis Borealis. He then swung his sword, stabbing towards Noctis Borealis's vital point. TSK, Noctis Borealis said contemptuously. You are really overestimating yourselves. Supreme Malevolent Emperor in all his grandeur. Unexpectedly, the tomb was robbed by a group of juniors, as stated in the previous episode. The 108th disciple of Noctis Borealis has finally broken through to the sacred rank. The unrivaled sovereign system has finally been activated. But a group of ignorant juniors has come to plunder his tomb. Feel his cultivation level. it's just a tiny ghost at the spirit concentration stage. The weakest among us has already reached the celestial court stage. Upon hearing Elder Li's explanation, a man brandished his sword and thrust towards the Noctis Borealis gate. Noctis Borealis looked disdainful. With a squeeze of his left hand, the long sword was pinned in place by him. I just clearly used all my strength. How could he have picked it up so easily? Is he really just a waste at the spirit concentration stage? Oh, do you want to take it back? Too late. Noctis Borealis just yanked with his right hand. The man was then lifted up by him. A trash like the celestial court stage is actually in such a hurry to die. Are you tired of living? He just squeezed hard. The man instantly turned into a blood mist. Everyone saw how powerful Noctis Borealis is. They had to ask Elder Li what to do. But at this moment, Elder Li had no time to deal with them at all. With his strength at the late stage of half-divine saga, he even felt his soul trembling. Now he only had one thought: treasures were nothing compared to his life. Creeps have their own advantages, at least they live longer. Haha, do you think you can escape? Just as Noctis Borealis moved his fingers to activate the incantation, a huge formation covered the entire hall. Elder Li was instantly electrocuted and unable to take care of himself. He doesn't understand. Why did the formation appear here? Obviously there was nothing when he came in. Could it be? Was this powerful formation drawn by that young man? A flood of questions rushed into his mind. This person is so powerful. He can't tell whether Noctis Borealis is a half-divine saga or a divine saga now. Does this mean he is really the supreme malevolent emperor? Lord, spare me. I am just hired by them. I did not mean to offend you or this place. Yes, yes, yes. We are just working. It's all that man's idea. Noctis Borealis has no time to deal with this. He just waved his hand. The terrifying green flames burned on both of them. In just a moment, they had completely disappeared, as if they had never appeared at all. Lord, please spare me. I won't dare to do it again. I will bring out everything. Please, Lord, don't kill me. You tell me. Where is the person who built this tomb now? Lord. I really don't know which master built this tomb. I just happened to stumble upon it. Seeing the terrifying expression of Noctis Borealis, Elder Li was sweating profusely. Now he only hopes that the malevolent emperor's murderous KPI has been met, so he can spare himself. Otherwise, he would definitely be doomed. What use do I have in keeping you alive? Ah! Don't go, Lord, even though I don't know. But as long as you contact the Shadowcloak Bureau in Cloud Sail City, they will definitely know. This intelligence organization is very powerful, spanning the entire Central Yuan domain. Upon hearing Elder Li's response, Noctis Borealis was suddenly stunned. The Shadowcloak Bureau was actually created by their own the 8th disciple. I didn't expect this organization to become such a powerful entity now. Lord, they must know what you want to know. I am willing to lead you to find them. I only ask you to spare my life. But Noctis Borealis did not give him the opportunity, flicking his fingers lightly. Elder Li in the late stage of half-divine saga turned into a bubble and disappeared without a trace. Notification from the system: for each lost disciple found, a reward can be obtained. Upon hearing this, Noctis Borealis burst into laughter. He had recruited 108 female disciples 300 years ago, and now it's finally his time for a bountiful harvest. Disciples, get ready. You guys wait. I'm coming for you. The beautiful woman is the strongest formation master in the Central Yuan domain, but at this moment, she is about to explode in anger. His revered master's grave was actually robbed yesterday. In the previous episode, Noctis Borealis successfully awakened the unrivaled sovereign system. The system requires him to search for the lost disciples. For each one he encounters, he will receive a reward. To receive the rewards, he set out on the journey. He is ready to go in search of his 108 enchanting female disciples. But this frightened his disciples greatly. When one disciple learned that the tomb had been robbed, she immediately sent someone to inform the Shadowcloak Bureau to notify Selene Lai that her hometown was on fire. Hurry and come to me. Additionally, have all members of the first formation group prepare themselves. This time, I will make sure everyone in the world knows that those who desecrate the tomb of my revered Shifu shall be punished no matter how far they are. This person is none other than the 13th disciple of Noctis Borealis, Vespera Juga. She had been searching for the ancient mystical formation to revive the revered Shifu. But now she has not found the mystical formation. Her own revered Shifu's home was stolen. But she doesn't know that now Noctis Borealis has not only been resurrected, but has also arrived at Cloudsail City. Oh, I haven't eaten anything in hundreds of years. I'm so hungry. I should fill my stomach first. I walked to the city gate. Noctis Borealis took out 2 gold coins and stopped a young man, asking which restaurant was the best to eat at. Lord, are you kidding me? Of course, it's the famous gold-lettered sign under Culinary Lady's Restaurant. He followed the direction pointed by the young man. He also saw the flourishing McClucky and deep dive hot pot in the city. At this point, Noctis Borealis was also a bit disheveled. Could it be that I have traveled back to Earth again? Our Cloudsail City is so prosperous now. It's all thanks to our culinary lady. It's a pity that she is now at the divine sage stage and rarely moves in the human world. It is said that she has a stunning appearance that can overthrow cities. I wonder if I will have the chance to see her beauty in this lifetime. He heard the description from the younger brother. Noctis Borealis thought about having this ability in his disciple. It should be Scarlet Fan, ranked 40th. Back then, he taught her a lot about Earth cuisine. Could she be his disciple? I would like to see. How capable are the grand disciples you brought out? He said, as he walked straight into Deep Dive Hot Pot Restaurant. The dishes here are all mediocre except for Buddha's wall leap. Just then, the ordering voice behind him caught his attention. As usual, give me a serving of demonic beast, and let the 2 beauties try the Buddha's wall leap today. The most famous demonic beast Buddha's wall leap in Cloudsail City. This serving of Buddha's wall leap is worth as much as 10,000 gold coins. No one can afford it yet. A man in luxurious clothing boasted arrogantly, with 2 shy and beautiful women serving him beside. Please give me a serving of Buddha's wall leap. Saying, Noctis Borealis. He took out 5 spiritual stones and tossed them onto the table. He said magnanimously, consider the extras as a tip. Seeing Noctis Borealis acting so generously, people around also started discussing his identity. However, they could not have imagined in their wildest dreams that the person in front of them could almost be their future patriarch. However, in a moment, a delicious Buddha's wall leap was served on his dining table. I don't know if this demonic beast Buddha's wall leap tastes like Scarlet Fans. Let me have a taste. Who did this demonic beast Buddha's wall leap? He angrily exclaimed. Is this thing meant for pigs to eat? Discovered that Noctis Borealis is so ignorant. Wen Hong Pan on the side also mocked him. Noctis Borealis ignored the mockery from the side and coldly said, for such mediocre dishes, only fools like you with more money than sense would be deceived. Call your head chef over instantly. A burly man walked out. Hello, guest. Even the esteemed young Master Pan of the Crimson Sun sect has praised my dishes greatly. Do you have any opinions? Wen Hong Pan smiled even more arrogantly at this point. Just a mere kid at the early spirit concentration stage. How dare you also dare to question the signature dish of the head chef at the late celestial court stage? You are stealing my thunder. This should be interesting to watch. Noctis Borealis calmly commented on the preparation of Buddha's wall leap dish. The ingredients need to be sun-dried for 49 days to bring out the maximum freshness of the food. You replace this process with fresh ingredients. What qualifications do you have to be the head chef? The ribs were not roasted with fierce fire, it failed. The fish gelatin was cooked too soft, it failed. The abalone was cooked for too long. The meat is too tough. It failed. The broth was not reduced enough. It truly is a failure within a failure. Upon hearing these problems, Six Dong's face was already covered in sweat. The young man in front of him actually had a deeper understanding of cuisine than his own master, Sherfu. With a thud, Six Dong knelt down towards Noctis Borealis. I have eyes but fail to recognize Mount Tai. Please forgive me. Wan Hong Pan on the side was also shocked to see this scene. A celestial court stage expert actually knelt down to a spirit concentration stage individual, addressing them as predecessor. He said the dishes you made were rubbish. And you even kowtowed and knelt down to him. Are you out of your mind? Predecessor's analysis is impeccable. The demonic beast Buddha's wall leap I made is indeed rubbish. It's not your fault. Perhaps this kind of trash only deserves to eat rubbish. Young Master Pan was criticized by Noctis Borealis like this. Wan Hong Pan immediately turned his head to look over in this direction. What did you say? I said, scum like you deserve only to eat garbage. Got that? You're asking for death. These two busted beauties are the disciples of the Supreme Malevolent Emperor. But at this moment, the two of them are standing by the coffin together. Just because a group of creeps stole their revered Sherfu's body. The body of the revered Sherfu is beyond the scope of the body refining stage. Such a body is of no use to ordinary people. But if it is the master of the sacred land. Selene Lai had not finished speaking. Vespera Juga interrupted her words directly. What about the master of the sacred land? Dare to steal the body of revered Sherfu, I will risk my life to bring revered Sherfu back. Just as the two were about to head to the sacred land, Vespera Juga suddenly realized that something was wrong. The formation that I just set up has been unexpectedly destroyed. Don't give them a break. They really treat this place as their own home. Saying that, Selene Lai took out her precious sword and prepared to face the enemy. Oh my! The third elder's formation is truly unparalleled. In just a few seconds, he broke through the restriction. The third elder was praised so much at this moment that he looked a bit embarrassed. I had just finished preparing myself for the movement when this formation suddenly shattered. Just as a few people entered the hall, their eyes caught Vespera Juga and Selene Lai, mistaking them for treasure hunters. They began to clamor and demand that the two women hand over their treasures. Senior sister, how many of them should we leave alive? Okay, let's keep the chatty one alive. Vespera Juga waved her hands, and a golden grand formation covered the entire palace. Underneath everyone's feet appeared circular formations. At her command, everyone, except the third elder, had their heads exploded into a mist of blood. The third elder was frozen in place, too scared to move. This formation may be unknown to others, but how could he, well versed in the study of the 8 trigrams, not know about it? This is the soul-capturing formation. This formation is the renowned skill of the soul-devouring malevolent lord. And the young lady in front of us actually knows how to use it. You can't kill me. I am the third elder of the Crimson Sun sect. If you kill me, the Crimson Sun sect will not let you off. Listen to the threat of the third elder. Vespera Juga does not care about these. With a wave of her left hand, a blood-red phantom appeared and manifested instantly. The third elder withered visibly at a speed discernible to the naked eye. Little Vespera, why haven't you made any progress after so many years? Your memory-stealing ability is far inferior to revered Sherfu's back in the day. With a single move, you have drained both blood and memories away. I can only look up to revered Sherfu at that stage. Let's go, senior sister. From the memory of the third elder just now, we learned that these bastards have been here before. It's possible that revered Sherfu's body is also related to them. Saying that, the two of them flew towards Cloud Sail City together. But what they don't know is that revered Sherfu is indeed in Cloud Sail City, but not as a body instead. He is now still engaging in a duel with someone over a bowl of counterfeit Buddha's wall leap. I say, scum like you only deserve to eat garbage. Wenhong Pan, seeing trash from the spirit concentration stage mocking herself, gathers a fireball in her right hand and attacks Noctis Borealis. Noctis Borealis was also a little angry at this point. Just a playboy dared to talk to her like this. He clenched his left hand and pressed Wenhong Pan directly onto the table. What brand of trash are you? How dare you be so arrogant? Let me go, or else I'll make you regret it. Sure. I'd like to see what else you can do. Only to see, Noctis Borealis kicked him out of the door with one kick. On the side, Six Dong saw the situation and quickly advised Noctis Borealis to leave and lay low. I only disabled his cultivation level, didn't kill him. Predecessor, you are unaware. The Crimson Sun sect is a top power in Cloud Sail City. Several elders have already reached the Divine Sage stage in their cultivation level. The sect leader even broke through to the Sacred King stage more than 100 years ago. You crippled their core disciple. The Crimson Sun sect will definitely not give up easily. Noctis Borealis also smiled faintly upon hearing this. His 108 disciples were all at the Divine Sage stage, and he himself had reached the Great Emperor stage in his past life. With just a wave of his hand, he could easily annihilate such a small sect. This girl in a cow costume. She actually wants to challenge a super major sect single-handedly. Just because the group of creeps from the Crimson Sun sect stole the body of her revered master, but she doesn't know about it. At this time, her own revered Shifu has already been resurrected, and he is watching her from the sidelines. Noctis Borealis has a happy expression on his face at this moment. He finally found his first disciple by himself. The remaining 107 probably won't be far behind. Is this girl not afraid of death? How dare she openly insult the sect leader of the Crimson Sun sect, whose cultivation level has long surpassed the Divine Saga level. I didn't expect the Crimson Sun sect to rise so rapidly in these 2 years. They have actually made 13 attempts to reach out to the Night Emperor's tomb, and each time, they become more and more audacious. The disappearance of revered Shifu's body is absolutely closely related to them. Today, even at the cost of my life, I will bring revered Shifu back. In just a moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Selene Lai. Can you call the sect leader by name? It is Grand Elder of the Crimson Sun sect. I heard that this Grand Elder recently broke through to the Divine Sage Stage 8 layer, further advancing the Great Tao's sword. A casual sword strike can sever mountains and rivers. So powerful, I really want to witness the style of the Grand Elder. Don't be in such a rush to send yourself to death, it's not your turn yet. Selene Lai completely ignored him. She simply extended an international friendly gesture. This Grand Elder has lived for more than half a lifetime. Who has ever suffered such humiliation? He exerted all his strength and swung his sword, directly stabbing towards Selene Lai's vital points. Oh, is that so? Selene Lai extended her left hand, and a huge pressure instantly sent Grand Elder flying out. Impossible, this astonishing power. Besides the sect leader, no one else could unleash it. Could it be? This guy is already a powerful Sacred King expert. I can't keep fighting like this. It may not be good for me. I'll just be a creep and unleash a few sword strikes. Grand Elder is also borrowing the smoke from the explosion. He fled towards a distance. You still want to run? It's not that easy. Selene Lai raised the long sword in her hand above her head. A complex formation emerges. With a boom, the long sword fell. The huge shockwave directly blasted the Grand Elder into the ground. This Grand Elder is at the 8th layer of the Divine Sage stage. He actually lost so miserably. Who is that girl after all? Whoever dares to cause trouble at my Crimson Sun sect must be quite powerful. So it turns out to be Divine Architect Fairy Miss Selene. I wonder what made the fairy angry. You creep, daring to steal from the Night Emperor's tomb. Now hand everything over. I can let the others go if you cooperate. And you must die? Selene Lai swung her sword, and the powerful sword momentum flew directly towards the master of past origins. Just with you, someone who cultivates the path of support. Still want to take my life? I'm afraid you haven't woken up yet. The master of past origins manipulates the circulating incantation. He actually managed to completely disperse Selene Lai's attack. Haha, if I eliminate you, this devil cultivator, a lot of people should applaud and cheer, right? Why don't you give it a try then? Target, Crimson Sun Sect, Noah's Arkansas indiscriminate attack. Only saw millions of long swords flying out at the same time. Master of Past Origins also realized that something was not right at this moment. He hastily asked all the elders to join him in casting a defensive formation. However, the terrifying attacking power of the Noah's Ark instantly broke through their defense. The entire sect was turned into flat ground in an instant. Devil cultivators are indeed devil cultivators. Don't think that I can't deal with you in this way. Let me show you my true strength. Just as Master of Past Origins waved his left hand, a formation flew out. Chains appeared wherever the formation passed by. He actually pinned Selene Lai in place alive. Selene Lai, it's you who forced me. Watch out. Master of Past Origins. If you dare to harm me, senior sister, I will use the entire Crimson Sun sect to refine an array against you. The girl is nailed in the air and cannot move. The man beside is ready to deliver the final blow to her. If you dare to harm me, senior sister, I will use the entire Crimson Sun sect to refine a formation against you, Master of Past Origins. Vesper-Ajuga, I didn't expect you, a devil cultivator, to also be on the ship. Perfect, let me kill this Selene Lai first. These two girls are being whipped by men with a celestial whip. But they seem to be enjoying it. Just because Noctis Borealis found 2 new disciples. The system rewarded him with a 10x cultivation speed and asked the system about the disciples' cultivation levels in 100 years. Just need to make contact to transmit into the disciple's body. So that's how the opening scene came about. Finish work after finishing the job. Selene Lai and Vesper-Ajuga laid down contentedly on the ground. Noctis Borealis also thought about the next step of the plan at this time. He must find some powerful disciples. Otherwise, only 2 disciples from the path of support would be insufficient. Their attack power is still too weak. That night, Noctis Borealis asked about the situation of the other 106 disciples. Revered Sherfu, we have failed. We did not protect senior sister and junior sister properly. Please punish Revered Sherfu. He did not expect that his disciples had already fallen apart, and the mastermind turned out to be the 9 great sacred lands. But now he is returned. His top priority is to find disciples whose main focus is on attack. By the way, Revered Sherfu, I just forgot to mention. Snow White's senior sister is also in the Central Yuan domain, just that. Selene Lai hasn't finished speaking. However, she was intercepted by Vesper-Ajuga. What happened to Snow White? This disciple is the one with the highest talent cultivation in the Noctis Borealis cultivate. 300 years have passed. She should be close to becoming an emperor, right? After she broke through to half-emperor. She plans to take on Starry Radiant's sacred land single-handedly. But no one saw what happened later. Starry Radiant's sacred land. It's Starry Radiant's sacred land again. Where is Snow White now? Luoguang City, Snow White Sword Manor. Upon hearing this news, Noctis Borealis no longer hesitated. He flew towards Luoguang City with 2 companions overnight. 3 days later, Noah's Ark. At this moment, Noctis Borealis is cultivating in the room, gaining a 10 times cultivation speed boost since obtaining it. His cultivation level has also been advancing by leaps and bounds these days. He broke through 5 stages within 3 days, but he is still not quite satisfied with this speed. Selene Lai and Vesper-Juga were also quietly watching their revered master showing off on the side. An ordinary person may not even break through one stage in 3 years, let alone someone with a talent for cultivation like Snow White. It takes her a year to make a breakthrough. Great. Next, I want to make a concerted effort. I want to directly break through the transcendent mysticism stage. Another day has passed. 3 people finally arrived at Luoguang City, little brother. Tell me everything you know about Snow White Sword Manor. This gold coin in my hand will be yours, guest. Are you also planning to participate in the wine and martial arts event at Snow White Sword Manor? Wine and martial arts event? He learned it from the waiter. Ever since the incident at Starry Radiant Sacred Land, the master of Snow White Sword Manor returned injured and his strength has been declining. So she spends her days drowning herself in wine. Now she even organized a wine fighting event, squandering all her family's wealth. But Noctis Borealis doesn't care about these. Although it is not known what Snow White experienced in Starry Radiant's sacred land, but his waking service must be able to wake up Snow White. Snow White Sword Manor, next, give me your wine. Only to see a black-robed person place a bottle of wine on the table. Let's not even mention the wine inside. Just the bottle itself could sell for several pieces of spiritual stone, right? Even the bottle looks so exquisite. Surely the wine inside must also be extraordinary. It seems that this young man should have no problem with exchanging items. The butler at the door saw this wine and was about to reach out to grab it. But he was stopped by the man in black robe. This wine is extremely precious and is to be given to the master of the manor. A cup is enough to smell the aroma of this wine. At this moment, the butler felt as if he were in heaven. If he could drink a cup of this wine in his lifetime, he would die without regrets. By the way, please have the butler deliver 2 sentences to the master of manor. The first sentence is, as long as the master's wine can make his guests drunk, they'll forget their hometowns and wander far. The second sentence is, a poem, a jug of wine, a long song, and a sword to the ends of the world. Okay, please wait a moment, young master. I will now serve the wine to the master of manor. This lady's face turned red all over. Her body also couldn't help but move involuntarily in the wave of emotions. Only because she drank the wine brewed by her revered Shifu. However, revered Shifu passed away as early as 300 years ago. Snow White quickly asked the steward about the origin of this wine. It seems to be from a big family. And that person also asked me to convey 2 sentences to you. Next, the steward also recited the 2 sentences that Noctis Borealis had just said. After listening to the poem, Snow White could no longer contain her emotions and instantly flew towards the door. Revered Shifu, the 4th senior sister has arrived. You all need to calm down a bit. Make sure you don't show any weaknesses. Noctis Borealis, known as Snow White, is now experiencing a drastic drop in cultivation level. Only your wake-up service can successfully awaken her. The condition is that you absolutely cannot let her know your identity. Tell me, who told you these 2 lines of poetry? Snow White instantly released sword intent outward. Facing such a powerful pressure, the 3 in front did not take a step back. Who are you after all? I can tell you who I am in a moment. But first, let's finish the deal of exchanging goods for wine. Okay, no problem. This master of manor is very satisfied with your wine. Speak up. What do you want? Noctis Borealis sees the plan succeed. He also proposed that Snow White lower the cultivation level and compete with him. In this way, he can both test his current strength and ensure the smooth implementation of his future plans. On the arena, Snow White also keeps her word. She conscientiously lowered her cultivation level to the spirit concentration stage 1st layer. She seems to be looking down on me a little. But it's also good, so I can teach her a lesson more conveniently. Watching the triumphant smile on revered Shifu's face, Vesper-Juga and Selene Lai also hugged each other in fear. But all they could do now was silently pray for Snow White. At this moment, Snow White still didn't know what she was about to face. Noctis Borealis even arrogantly displayed his most skilled swordsmanship. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to block her 2 moves at all. Noctis Borealis saw that disciple made such a request. Of course, he immediately granted it. Just saw him waving the long sword in his hand. Instantly, more than a dozen sword aura attacks came from all directions. He left Snow White with only one exclamation. She was injured and fell to the ground. Sure enough, Senior Sister was defeated in the first round. I underestimated you. Go on. But you won't be so lucky next time. Azure Lotus Sword Technique second form, a stroke of genius. Only Snow White is surrounded by white sword aura all over. She soared into the air, moving at such a fast speed. What appeared in everyone's sight were actually 2 Snow Whites. But Noctis Borealis remained calm and composed. His long sword slashed down, and a sharp "ah" sound was heard. Snow White was thrown backwards. Luckily her chest was very soft, so she was not hurt. Master of Manner, why don't you raise your cultivation level to be the same as mine? Facing the provocation from Noctis Borealis, Snow White directly explodes in anger. She stood up and picked up a long sword. The Azure Lotus Sword Technique third form was executed by her. But Noctis Borealis still only used 1 move to defeat her. The first time was an accident. The second time was a coincidence. The third time, it's destiny. She looked at the young man in front of her. Snow White actually felt a bit moved. Who are you really? Who I am doesn't matter. Just do it. Upon hearing the command, Vespera Juga jumped onto the platform and activated the incantation in her hand. In an instant, a formation covered the entire platform. Sensing the abnormal situation, Snow White quickly began to restore her own strength. But it was too late. At this moment, her cultivation level was rapidly decreasing. Finally, she landed steadily on the first layer of the spirit concentration stage. Darn it! From the moment you offered me a drink, you have been setting traps for me step by step. What is your purpose in the end? Sherfu is being controlled. Shaner takes out her long sword and charges towards Noctis Borealis along with 3 others, but before she can get close, she is held in place by a powerful force. Snow White sees that the disciple is in danger. Snow White doesn't care about anything at this moment. Her eyes instantly turn red. She actually compressed her own magical power into a solid form, attacking Noctis Borealis. However, her attack was still blocked by a single strike from Noctis Borealis. Do you think you are that powerful? You can't even protect the people around you. What right do you have to fall? And you, revered master? You became like this, you are the main culprit, revered master. Upon hearing this, Snow White stood still on the spot. But just as Noctis Borealis let down his guard and was about to move forward, an attack slashed across his face. If he hadn't dodged in time, his fate probably wouldn't be much better than the wall behind him. You can insult anyone, just not my revered Sherfu today. I will kill you. Look at Snow White's current state. Noctis Borealis knows it's almost over. Now, only the final step is missing. Re-encounter Disciple +1. Reward Disciple with a Xian Yuan sword intent. Noctis Borealis hears the system prompt. He also directly extracted the sword intent and threw it towards Snow White. In an instant, there was a strange phenomenon in the world. Is it possible that Snow White's sword manor is where a legendary treasure is born? Let's go, hurry and take a look. Such a phenomenon has not occurred in hundreds of years. This must be a stroke of luck. The girl is suspended in midair. The few sacred kings who rushed over to pick up the leftovers from spirit concentration first layer to directly break through to half-emperor summit were stunned. Such advancement speed can be described as unheard of. Maybe she can directly open the path to becoming an emperor. Our master of manner suddenly comprehended the great Tao of sword. Before this, Who dares to take one step forward will be considered an enemy of my Snow White sword manner and face the consequences. Seeing these two girls, only the sect leader of the 5th layer Heavy Sky sect on the Celestial Court stage was wielding a big knife and chopping towards Selene Lai. I said it. Whoever takes one step closer will bear the consequences. Just then, Selene Lai waved her left hand, and a tremendous giant hand appeared. Go towards the Heavy Sky sect leader and strike, until the next time we meet. There was only a pool of blood left on the ground. But the palm print did not disappear. Instead, she incidentally dealt with 5 people in a row. This is definitely not a palm technique that a Celestial Court stage cultivator could use. She must have concealed her cultivation level. According to the two individuals' estimation, the Selene Lai in front of them is at least a Sacred King stage summit powerhouse, or even a half-emperor. At this moment, Snow White opened her eyes. Xian Yuan's sword intent has finally been fully absorbed. Who are you really? Noctis Borealis saw the opportunity ripe and took off his mask. Before him stood his own revered Shifu. Snow White was full of disbelief. His own revered Shifu had clearly passed away 300 years ago. Moreover, revered Shifu had extremely poor aptitude. It was simply impossible for him to break through the body refining stage. Upon seeing Snow White still skeptical, Noctis Borealis had to bring out the Celestial Whip. This was the tool that revered Shifu used to discipline them in the past. She really saw the revered Shifu Snow White, and couldn't help but break down emotionally. She threw herself into Noctis Borealis's arms and started crying. Back when she cultivated to half-emperor, she wanted to seek revenge against revered Shifu. But in the end, she was defeated by Starry Radiant's sacred land, and her cultivation level plummeted after being injured. There is no possibility of recovery. Don't cry. If you keep crying, I will feel heartbroken. Seeing this moving scene, the several sacred kings who came to take advantage were also stunned on the spot. Just how terrifying must the strength of the revered master of the half-emperor summit be? I reckon they must be feeling regretful now. They can only act like creeps. Several people are kneeling on the ground and have decided to submit to Snow White's sword manner, only hoping for mercy from Noctis Borealis. Noctis Borealis and Snow White are currently emotionally charged. But they were interrupted by a few people. They directly told a few people to roll away as well. Revered Master, Disciple has a request. 3 days from now, a mystic realm located thousands of kilometers away from here is about to open. Disciple hopes Revered Master can bring Shaner to experience and train. Upon hearing this, Noctis Borealis was also very puzzled. Then why don't you accompany her personally? Afraid she might rely on you. You can also protect her secretly without showing yourself. Snow White had to reveal the reason. It turns out that in this mystic realm, those with a power of cosmic laws cultivation level higher than the transcendent mysticism stage cannot enter at all. She had once tried to force her way in before. However, it ended in failure. That kind of power of cosmic laws, I'm afraid even the great Emperor cannot surpass. But with revered Shifu being unparalleled in the world, where there is someone who is invincible in battle, going out is no problem. It's fine to take Shaner out to see the world together. And she can take care of people too. There is absolutely no problem with her assisting revered Shifu. He saw Snow White almost elevating herself to the heavens. Noctis Borealis also agreed to come down. It just so happened that he could also go and see the power of cosmic laws.